Hi guys, let's now continue with our discussion on the law on sales, and today we will be discussing Recto Law. So Recto Law only applies to installment sales of personal property and leases of personal property with option to buy. So there are three remedies of the vendor under Recto Law. One, exact fulfillment. Two, cancellation of the sale. And three, foreclosure of the chattel mortgage. So exact fulfillment can be availed of regardless of the number of installments unpaid. And in case of any deficiency, the vendor can still run after the buyer for the deficiency. So what exactly will happen under exact fulfillment? So let's say, for example, you are buying the car on installments. And after 2 years of installments, you were not able to pay the next succeeding installments. So what will the vendor do? The vendor will will give you a series of demand letters demanding for the payment of the unpaid installments. So after a series of demand letters were given by the vendor and still you did not pay, then the vendor will go to the court and file a collection case. So after filing a collection case, the vendor will now move for the attachment of the car that you bought on installments. After attaching the car will be sold at public auction, and whatever is the proceeds will be applied to your unpaid installments. So if the unpaid installments is 250,000 and the proceeds of the car under public auction is only 150, there is what we call a deficiency of 100,000. So can the vendor still run after you for the deficiency to recover the deficiency of 100,000? The answer is yes. So he can run after your other assets to be attached for the satisfaction of the remaining 100,000 unpaid installments. All right. The next remedy is cancellation of the sale. So cancellation of the sale can be availed of if there are two or more installments that have not been paid. In case of cancellation, vendor is obliged to return to the vendee the sums collected less the reasonable amount of rent because the vendee is using the personal property. Okay. The third remedy is foreclosure of the chattel mortgage. So what the foreclosure of the chattel mortgage can be availed of just like the cancellation of the sale when two or more installments have not been paid. The property will be foreclosed and sold at public auction. So in case the proceeds is not enough to cover the unpaid installments, this time the vendor cannot anymore run after the vendee for the deficiency. So let's say, for example, you buy a car on installments and after 2 years of installments, you failed to pay the succeeding installments. So what the vendor did is the vendor choosing to foreclose the chattel mortgage. So after foreclosing the car as a chattel mortgage, the vendor sold it at public auction. Then after selling it at public auction, the proceeds is applied to your unpaid balance. So what if, for example, the unpaid balance is 250 and the proceeds is only 150? So there is now a deficiency of 100,000. Can the vendor run after you to recover the deficiency of 100,000? The answer is he cannot run after you. So this is the difference between foreclosure of the chattel mortgage and exact fulfillment. So that is why in practice class the best remedy of these three remedies under Recto Law is exact fulfillment. Because in case of deficiency after the car is sold at public auction, the vendor can still recover the deficiency. While under foreclosure of the chattel mortgage, he can no longer recover the deficiency because allowing the vendor to do that would mean exercising also the exact fulfillment remedy. So, which is prohibited under Recto Law. So, these are the important thing that you need to take into consideration, guys, when we talk about Recto Law. Bye, guys.